Today we're going to be looking at some interesting features in Excel, and we're really going to learn one of the key roles that technology plays, which is to serve as a 2T, meaning that we're going to try to teach Excel to do a job that we want it to do. Now, the first thing that I want us to work on is building a conditional statement here that will tell us if the number in the yellow box is even or odd. And it turns out there's a built-in tool in Excel that does that. So here I can type equals. I can begin typing the word is, and then when I type the letter E, you can see one of the options says is even. Open parentheses. Oh, and before I type the parentheses, notice right here it tells us what kind of answer this is going to give us. So it's going to give us the answer true if the number is even. It's going to give us the answer false if the number is odd. So is even parentheses, then we can click on this box here, close parentheses, and of course it responds with true. Now I'd really like it to say the word even. If the number's even, I'd like it to say the word not even if it's not even. So I have to wrap this is even tool, the built-in tool, in a conditional statement. So I'm going to go if parentheses is even equals true, comma. Well, what do we want it to say if it's true? Quote, even, end quote. And if it's not true, we'd like it to say not even, end quote, close parentheses. And now it returns the word even. And if I type 3, it returns the word not even. So that works kind of the way that I want it to. Although I was messing around with it and I figured out that when I type 2.1, what should that say when I hit enter? I think that it should say not even because I don't think it's an even number. And yet, something inside of the is even function is looking at 2.1 and thinking that it's an even number. So that concludes attempt number 1 of using the built-in tool. And now we're going to have to take it another step further. And you see, this is the part of the process of using Excel as a 2T because it might kind of do what you want it to do, but not completely. And when that happens, you have to slow down and think about, okay, what is it that I can get it to do step by step so that in the end it does the test the way I want it to do the test. So one idea here, I'm going to add an extra row. I'm going to right click over here and click insert. One idea that I had was maybe we can check to see if the number is an integer first, because if it's not an integer, we can automatically say that it's not even. So above this box, I'm going to type is int. Now it makes me wonder, there was an is even function built in to Excel. I wonder if there's an is integer function. So we can check that out. Equals, I can begin typing it. Is I, and oh, there's no integer option. What if I just type integer? Int, it'll round a number down to the nearest integer. So that might be useful. One thing I could do is start with the 2.1, for example. What would happen if I do equals int of this number, close parentheses, and it should respond with 2. So, well, what I could do is I could try to wrap a conditional statement inside of a conditional statement. So The way I'm going to do it on attempt 2 is I'm going to separate it into two different conditional statements. So the first one's going to be here. Instead of responding with 2, I'd like it to respond with yes or no. So we can wrap this in a conditional. So if, parentheses, if the number here is equal to the number here, then there should be yes as an integer, so quote yes, and quote, and if they don't match, it should be no. So right now it's a no, but if I change it to the number 2, it changes to a yes. So right now, I have a tool that checks if this is an integer or not. And over here, I can do a conditional statement that looks at that check. So we'll go with equals if. We're going to look at this box, and if it equals yes, we can try it without quotes, and we might need to wrap the word yes in quotes if it doesn't quite work the way we want. So for now, if it equals a yes, that means it's an integer. So then if it's an integer, we want to do the is even test. So we're going to do another if. If is even, parentheses, of this number equals true. If it's even, we want to say the word even. If it's not even, we want to say not even. And then I'm going to close parentheses on the if then, so notice the parentheses match here and here, they're both pink. And this if statement, notice where it's located inside of the larger if statement. This is in the second position, meaning this is the thing we do if G8 is the word yes. So what do we do if G8, which is this box here, is the word no? That's what's going to go in the space here. And I think if it says no, we just want to say not even. And right now it says name, but do you remember there was one thing I was questioning is, do we need to put quotations around the word yes? So sometimes you have to troubleshoot a little bit. And I think that it works the way we want it to work now, which is, let's try a few. So 2 responds with even, and if we think through the logical flow chart here, this checks yes. Let's look through the logic of the flow here. So first it's checking, does it say yes? And now it does. If it says yes, now it's checking, is it even or not even? So let's put a 3 here and see if it changes to not even. It does. So it's checking, is it? So yes, it's an integer. And then we're doing the is even check. And it's not even, so it responds with this version of not even. Just to show you the difference, I'm going to type this one in all capital letters. That way you can tell which version of not even we're getting. Right now we're getting the lowercase version, so that means that's this one. Now if I type this as 3.1, it says not even in caps. Maybe it would be better if we change this to not integer. That's a little bit clearer as to what the number is. Because a lot of times if somebody's looking at this and they see it's not even, they might think, oh, that must mean that it's odd. But apparently, there's a third option. Which, to me, brings up the next question, which is, if we have a third option, why not build it in? What we're going to do is start with what we have here. So I'm going to copy and then paste. One thing I want you to notice when we copied and pasted, look at this one. This is looking at cell F8. But when I pasted it over here, I'm going to hit escape to get out of that cell. When I pasted it over here, this one's looking at J8. So that's one thing I wanted to point out, is when you copy and paste, Excel is going to move the what's called the reference cells with it. So I moved this over 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, it used to be looking at the box right before it. Now it's still looking at the box right before it, which is in column J. I think that we can just tweak this a little bit. This final statement. If I'm in the middle if-then statement, the only time I'm going to get there is when we're dealing with an integer. And in that case, if it's not even, it's got to be odd. So I think you can just change this to odd and make it work. So if it says 2.1, it should respond with not integer, just like it did before. If I type 3, it should respond with odd. And then I can type this above is integer, and then even, odd, neither. I'm trying to type some titles in here to remind myself at a later time what these boxes are supposed to do. Okay, that's going to be a reminder for me if I need to use this later. Now, the challenge problem that I want to leave you with today is this. It would be really nice if we could use this and teach Excel to ask if a number is a factor of another number. So let's say I type the number 10 here. I want it to type in 5 here, and I want it to respond with the answer yes, because 5 is a factor. But if I type 6 here, I want this to answer no. And that's what I'd like to leave you with. I want you to figure out a way to tell Excel in order to answer yes or no in a situation like this. And you also have to take into account if I have a number 10.2 and then we don't want to call 6 a factor anymore. I don't even think we want to call 5.1 a factor. I think we really want to deal, when we talk about factors, in this situation we want to deal only with integers. So maybe it would be appropriate for this to say yes, no, or number, or something like non-int number. So those are the 3 options I want to appear in this box. Alright, that's your challenge, and good luck.